Hundreds of women took to the streets of the Moroccan capital Rabat on Saturday, urging parliament to revoke a law on sexual violence. Just a day earlier, Morocco had announced that it would modify a law that allows rapists to marry their underage female victims, a decision that came in light of the recent suicide of 16-year-old rape victim Amin El-Falali.
The 16-year-old girl who took her own life after being forced to marry a man 10 years older than her. In conservative Morocco, all the blame and guilt and dishonor falls on the rape victim and the victim's family, not the rapist. Despite the Moroccan laws, rapists are not being held responsible for their crimes. In Amina's case, she preferred to escape the pain by taking her own life. Her case was the result of the awakening by Moroccan women. In the result of her actions, people of Morocco were able to have a voice again. Morocco was able to establish another feminist movement to bring an end to this injustice. After my experience in Morocco, I saw a lot of women and men and the difference of each other within, even in the streets. Men will sit in cafes and stare at women while women just walk through the streets minding their own business, while men have the liberty of doing what they want. If they want to sit at a cafe all day, they can. Experiencing the culture firsthand made me realize the different roles a man and a woman has. A man can sit in a cafe all day if they want to, while a woman has to have the responsibilities of motherhood, of being a wife, take care of the home. And men were able to have a job as a waiter. But what was more culturally shock was that it's better for a woman not to be a waitress in order for them to not be harassed by men. Women were not seen in the streets after 8 p.m. It wasn't ladylike, but it was mostly to prevent them from harassment. So the key word is prevention. Girls are basically adopting around this likelihood of something happening, something bad happening. But why are girls being punished for an uncontrollable feeling from a man, and the guys are not being punished for having these uncontrollable feelings? The girls are not able to carry an independent life because of fear of men not able to control their feelings.
Ones are like the most common ones, you can say. So it is not very like easy for girls to go to college in Morocco, that's for sure. And the reason why it is, most of the colleges in Morocco, we have 16 public ones, are located in big cities, or like not that big cities as you have in the US, but like cities and not towns. So in cities, not all the girls who are studying in those universities come from cities. Most of them, like 60%, I can say, come from villages. Once they get their baccalaureate degree, like the high school degree, they get to the city to study in these universities. Um, so for their parents, it's quite not safe for them to go to a bigger place, new people and stuff. That's why most of them end up not coming to universities. See? That's the first case. So girls living in towns, small villages, their parents would not allow them to come because they don't know what they're going to face. They rather to have them getting married to someone and be safe and have a future. Um, it's still a problem here in Morocco, actually, that a lot of parents still think that when their girls get their diploma, there's no much chances for them to get a job. So they feel afraid of them ending being jobless and with no marriage too. So they prefer to play on the ground of marriage. So at least she would have her a husband next to her and children around her, rather than just chasing education or going after education. That's really sad to say, but yeah, a lot of parents here still think likewise. What is my opinion on family laws in Morocco? I like them. uh, it, they are really important. And there was a what do they call it? An amendment, I guess, made in 2004 by the king. It was approved by him in 2004, and it is called in Arabic mudawana. It's basically family and women law or charter of law or something like that. It has made a tremendous change in the Moroccan society. That's unquestionable. And how it made it. Well, before there were many rights. As I told you before, in Islam there were a lot of rights for women. I believe more than men, but they're not recognized. They're not talked about, and of course they're not implemented. So what the law tried to do is to go back to, I can tell, 15 centuries ago, try to adapt these laws again, and or these rights, and try to put them like in a new or like a modern way, which is called the law. Like before, people were not actually just. It's not like Islam is not just praying and fasting and that. It's a whole style of life. It covers all aspects of human life, including women's rights, of course. So people, if something was in the book, they would implement it. But now we're in modern societies where religion is, I can tell, marginalized, and what's important is the law. So what is happening now in Morocco, I believe, copy them from the book and put them in another book, which is the book of law, I can tell, or family law. So I really like them because they have helped a lot of women going through harsh situations. Women were not like allowed to go out, for instance, unless it is something very important and then like an urgency. Most of them were not going to pursuing education and getting jobs. That was very rare. And thanks to the Muduwana, a lot of them now get to go to getting education and jobs and like having a social status and trying to, like I can tell, own or earn their own place in their societies. So I am for the Mudawana. I'm glad it has been made, even though it was a little bit late. It was 2004, but at least it was made. So many crimes against women were not even recognized as crimes, and thanks to the Mudawana, they are. And more to that, they have found or they have set punishments for them. So, like domestic violence now, there are a lot of cases, and each case would include like a punishment for it, like jail or like a lot of really stuff which are good. Like before in 2000, before 2004, they weren't even recognized as crimes, which is like worst. But I all the time believe that no one gets rights without fighting for them. Rights are not given but earned. So if women want to have more rights, they need to protest for them. Uh, the feminist movement in Morocco, which started in late 80s until 90s, thanks to them, the Mudawana have came into reality. And the same thing can happen if they just keep working, keep like do not. I don't want them to feel satisfied with what has been achieved so far. They need to work more. Still a lot of crimes against women. Like I call them crimes. I keep calling them crimes because they are really crimes. They need to work more, like to have more associations. I tell you this honestly, I feel proud to know that so many associations now are really concerned with women and they're working for women. I've been to some of them here only in Meknes, and I feel really proud. So the things to be done first is to keep protesting, keep working, never stop, because the most you work, like the more you work, the more women you could save thanks to the law. The second thing is to have more rights for women. Yes, women need to have more participation in the parliament, because in the parliament is where the laws are they talk about them and then they approve them afterwards. So more women should have a political participation, so they can um, participate in making decisions and approving those decisions, like not for their favor, but of course it's for favor because it's good.
Women in Islam have a lot of rights. For example, equality of reward of their deeds, the right and duty to obtain education, the right to obtain provision for her dad or brother until she gets married, the right to keep all her own money, the right to express their own opinion and be heard, the right to negotiate marriage terms in her choice, the right to obtain divorce from her husband, and the right to have custody of her children after divorce. So why does Morocco does not show this in their law? I was quite lucky to actually live with a nurse that contributes so much to the Moroccan women. Her name is Majda Alawi, and she's a nurse with 26 years of experience, and she helps Moroccan women by working closely with them and educate them with the importance of well-being as well as well-being of their children. I was guided by her to check out the article on Women's Voice Now, and it talks about improving the lives of Moroccan women. Many organizations in Morocco actually aim to improve the quality of life of the family as a unit, and many facilities have now done after-school tutoring, hosting literacy program for women of all ages, teaching women Arabic, especially to read and understand the Quran and other government documents. Moroccan women no longer feel lost and no longer feel ignorant. This is a way of Moroccan women to become more independent and have more liberty. Although Morocco is a beautiful country with lots of wonders and sightseeing, but the rights for women should improve. Women shouldn't be suffering for men's domination. Women should have the liberty to get an education, to be free to marry whoever they want, and be free to walk in the streets and not be harassed. That's a basic human right.